Hi there, St. Paul. This is Rachel, one of the Con Ed interns from Candler this year, and today I'm bringing you a devotion from Luke chapter 18, verses 1 through 8. It's probably at least familiar with most of you. The parable of the widow and the unjust judge. So I'll read that for you now. Luke 18, verses 1 through 8. Then Jesus told them a parable about their need to pray always and not to lose heart. He said, "In a certain city there was a judge who neither feared God nor had respect for people. In that city there was a widow who kept coming to him and saying, 'Grant me justice against my opponent.' For a while he refused, but later he said to himself, 'Though I have no fear of God and no respect for anyone, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will grant her justice so that she may not wear me out by continually coming.' And the Lord said, 'And listen to what the unjust judge says. And will not God grant justice to his chosen ones who cry to him day and night? Will he delay long in helping them? I tell you, he will quickly grant justice to them. And yet, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on earth?'" Now, when I think about prayer, and especially prayer for certain desires and in certain things that we're asking from God, and petitions, as the church traditionally calls it, it kind of is one of those things that's a little icky for me. It just feels weird to come to God and ask for things, and prayer just doesn't feel like the most important thing for me to do always. There's so many actions that I can take most of the time. And the more tangible parts of our spiritual lives, like being able to worship with others and reading the Bible and such like that, just feels more real and more legitimate to me anyway. And sometimes it just feels like we're asking God for things that that other people don't get, and when other people ask for things and they don't get what they want from God, it feels wrong, and it just feels icky to ask for things from God. And I think that's a common feeling in the church today. And so that's one of the things that I struggle with a lot. But in this passage, we hear about this widow who is seeking out justice. It doesn't really say justice for what. But what we know from the context is that something happened, and she needs legal help. And widows at the time were, while the community of Israel was very committed, or supposed to be very committed to taking care of the widows and orphans, we live in Rome now and under the rule of Rome, and who knows how the widows are treated. And regardless, widows are still the lower class of people because they don't have their husbands to provide for them. They can't necessarily go and work for themselves, and so they're already in a vulnerable position. So this widow is probably pretty desperate if she's continually seeking out this judge who clearly does not care about her case, for just as the case of whoever she's seeking justice from. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything. He's just a judge, and that's his job. His job isn't to care about the people. But she comes back, and she comes back, and she comes back. And finally he's like, "Ugh, I guess I will help you out and seek justice for you." And so he uses his power to help her eventually, but only after she annoys him to no end. And Jesus is telling us, you don't even have to do that much to get to ask for things from God. Offer up your petitions, offer up the prayers that you need. Seek out God and seek out the things that you desire, the justice that you desire in the world. So it just seems like an appropriate value to have and practice to keep during this season of potential political change, of political upheaval, social upheaval, and just remembering the justice that we're seeking on behalf of others who have smaller voices than us, and the justice we have to seek for ourselves sometimes. So seeking justice for safe, healthy environments for us to live in the middle of a pandemic, seeking racial justice, all of the kinds of justice. Political justice. We need some political justice now. So I encourage you to continue to go to God with your desires for justice in the world, and your petitions for justice, because political action and just physical action of any kind is great, but so is prayer. God offers us prayer as a spiritual practice, not only for ourselves, but also for God, as a way to communicate with God and to give up ourselves to God. So I encourage you to continue to petition for justice in your prayers to God in this season. Have a great rest of the week, St. Paul. See you on Sunday.